So today we are talking about allergies, allergy season, which of course is starting now, and tips and tricks on how to keep our allergies at bay, what supplements we can take, and even just talking about what different types of allergies there are. How do they represent in ourselves? So everything to do with allergies. So do make sure that you stick around and watch the live. Lorna Vanderhaeghe will be joining very soon. There we go. I think we got it this time.
We're good.
So thank you very much for joining us. And I was telling the audience before we jumped on that we are talking about allergies, from tips and tricks to even just, as simple as what is an allergy? How does it express in ourselves? So before we get started, I want to make sure everyone knows who you are and who I am. So I'm Caitlyn Vanderhaeghe. I'm the president and CEO of KidStar Nutrients, and Moducare is exclusive to KidStar Nutrients. So that is why you see our beautiful faces on both Instagrams. And of course, Lorna Vanderhaeghe, who is known to many as a women's health expert. But before that, you actually were instrumental in bringing Moducare to Canada, and you were an immune health expert, and you have written 2 books on the immune system cure, and I believe the other one is
Healthy immunity.
Healthy immunity. How could I forget?
Yeah, the immune system cure was published in 1998 when people did not realize there was just so much new information around the immune system. We were kind of in the AIDS, HIV, tuberculosis, hepatitis C era. We really didn't know a lot about how the immune system played a role in things like allergies or arthritis or osteoporosis or even depression. So now we know a lot more about the immune system. And that first book of mine, which I should probably update and republish because there has been a lot of really cool immune system information come out over the last 20 years. But today we're going to talk about allergies, which is really a problem. It's really a response, an overactive response to everyday substances. So for example, pollens, cat hair, dog hair, dust, food, things that we should not technically be allergic to. And it's actually an old leftover response from parasitic infections. So back before the days of drugs, if you lived in the bush and you drank water and you got a parasitic infection, it could kill you. So allergies did originally have a good response. It's kind of a side effect of parasitic infections. But what we're seeing today is a lot more allergies, especially a lot more allergies in children, and very, very severe allergies. And this is because our immune system is completely overwhelmed with all of the environmental poisons and toxins, all of our processed food, which the body really, truly does not know what to do with. And the fact that our guts, right from birth, are not in very good shape. So it all starts in the digestive tract, and you and I have had lots of conversations about cesarean births because there is something beautiful that happens to our children when they're born vaginally. They get all of this good microbiome through the vaginal canal. And when babies are cesarean section born, they're at higher risk of allergies and things like that, simply because their immune system didn't get what it should. And now we know this is a problem. So smart midwives and obstetricians and surgeons will now make sure that cesarean section babies get the good microbiome from the mom's vagina in their nose, mouth, eyes, and ears so that they can have a good, healthy start too.
Right. And I also want to talk about, and if people follow the Moducare page, they hear us talk a lot about balancing our immune system. So the things you're talking about are, causing our bodies to be out of balance. We're not starting off in a proper modulated state. We're already out of balance, too high, too low. So when it comes to allergies, when we're looking at our immune system and it's not being balanced, what side of the teeter-totter are these allergies happening on?
Okay, well, let's back up a little bit because I think we got to have the dirt conversation first. Like, one of the things that's so important, so if you're a mom listening right now and you have one child who may have allergies and now you're going to have another one, you want to make sure that your kids are exposed to dirt. We know that the fact that our houses are so clean and our kids are not exposed to animals and other things when they're very, very small, that leads to an immune system that's kind of too sensitive. And so when we talk about an immune system that's out of balance, think about all the things that cause it to be out of balance. Antibiotics, processed foods, even grains are not so good. Remember, the Canada Food Guide eliminated them. And a lot of babies, that's kind of the first thing they eat. And then not being exposed to dirt, playing with pets, all those kinds of things that make your immune system learn. Because when a baby is born, they don't have a fully developed immune system. They develop their immune system over time through exposure to all of these things. So what's happening today is we're getting these children with an overactive immune system. Their immune system is hypersensitive. And so you have this immune system that literally you can think of as a teeter-totter. When the immune system is balanced, it does not have a problem with common allergens like pollen or, dust, things like that, or cat hair. When the immune system is in an overactive state, one side of the immune system goes up, your cortisol levels go up. We've heard about cortisol, it's a stress hormone. When cortisol goes up, your DHEA drops. DHEA is a very important hormone in the body. It's really the mother hormone, so all your other hormones are balanced by it. And when cortisol goes up and DHEA drops, a few things happen. When it goes up, you end up with increased autoimmune diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, multiple sclerosis, things such as that, type 1 diabetes, allergies, things that are caused by an overactive immune system. On the flip side, your ability to fight viruses and bacteria and cancer cells drop. So we don't want to keep our immune system boosted. This is not a good thing, especially today with autoimmune diseases and allergies on the rise, because what happens is you end up with this overstimulated immune system, too much cortisol floating around, depression increases, a whole bunch of other conditions that we're not even talking about. And then on the flip side, your immune system can't do its important job of fighting viruses, bacteria, fungi, parasites, and cancer cells. So we don't want to boost the immune system. We want it balanced. And when you have a balanced immune system, it fights viruses and cancer very, very well. Because remember, you've got cancer cells floating around all the time. It is up to your immune system to destroy it.
Right.
And one little note, 1 teaspoon of white sugar will turn off your immune system for up to 6 hours.
Yeah.
So you do not want to be feeding your kids sugar. You don't want to eat sugar, and especially for children, because a lot of the vitamins and the gummies are full of sugar and even coated with sugar. It's absolutely shocking.
It's true.
So we want to be able to really treat allergies at the root source instead of just taking an antihistamine. We actually want to get in there and get that immune system balanced so the allergies go away.
Right. So we constantly see these products that say boost your immune system. Get ready for this. Let's start boosting now. And so, of course, with Moducare on our page, and when we talk about it, we're always like, no, you don't boost unless you don't want to have anything elevated unless you know it needs to be elevated. So, that's why we always talk about modulation, balancing, getting back to that, teeter-totters in the right spot. I always have the image of the 2 kids that are sitting there and their legs aren't even touching the ground because they're perfectly balanced.
Right.
And so when we see those products, what do you think when you see them marketed everywhere to be saying boost this, boost this?
Well, I spent 20 years teaching people not to boost their immune system. So I would like to write letters to those companies and say, please, can you eliminate the boost and go to balance? And some products do balance the immune system, others don't. Some of the mushroom products are very effective at balancing. I think Moducare is a superstar because we've done clinical research in marathon runners where we were able to show in the most stressed body, where the immune system is really under incredible stress, we were able to give people Moducare and have their cortisol levels go back to normal, but most importantly, their DHEA comes up. And, in Canada, you can't buy DHEA over the counter. It's a prescription drug. I love Moducare because it's able to get your mother hormone back into the right place, bring your cortisol down very, very effectively. We hear a lot about adaptogens, things like ashwagandha and rhodiola, but nothing works as well as Moducare to bring cortisol back into the normal range and naturally bring DHEA up. So those are important. And, you know, when we're talking about allergies, we have to remember that, you know, about 90% of kids under the age of 5 get eczema at some point. And there is something called the allergic march in children. So first off, they often have eczema or gut issues. So they can't handle, you know, formulas or foods, or some kids even have challenges with certain breast milk as well. So it's not just formula. And that those kids who have eczema are at much higher risk of developing food allergies and then rhinitis. Now, rhinitis is a chronic runny nose, and you may remember your grandma always had Kleenex stuffed up her sleeve. She had rhinitis too, and would never admit it. And then, of course, those kids, after they start getting the chronic runny nose, they then develop things like asthma. So food allergies, rhinitis, and asthma. And Moducare did a great study in kids. And it's always very exciting when we actually have research in a population, just like I used to get excited when they did research in women, because most of the research is in men. So, you know, kids are also an underrepresented population in clinical studies. But they took 30 kids who had allergic rhinitis, so itchy eyes, runny nose, itchy nose, sneezing, even they even had challenges breathing as well. And for 6 months, they gave them Moducare. And they also did IgE tests. This is where you draw blood and you look at the immune response to these allergens. And they had dramatic improvement. And, you know, you grew up in our house with me talking about Moducare for 20 years. And, you know, we knew people who had severe cat allergies who couldn't be in our house because we had cats. And I'd say, well, go on Moducare for a few months and they'd be able to come and enjoy a dinner at our house with all our cats because they were no longer cat reactive to cat hair. And, you know, right now we have the highest pollen rates. Vancouver is in an extreme pollen situation. That's because we basically had no winter.
Correct.
The rest of the country will also have the same problem. You need to get on Moducare now, like right now, and there are other nutrients people can take too.
No, I agree. And as you were talking about the runny nose, the last time we were at the doctor's office for the kids for their wellness checkup, she was saying, we were talking about allergies. She's like, oh, you'll notice right away with the kids because they do this. And so the nose kind of pushes over and they have a line from doing this. So the kids that have the line on the nose or it's pushed over, it's a sign they can see it as the kid walks in the room. Oh, we know this kid has allergies. And it starts so young. And so think about it, if you don't solve the problems when they're little, they're going to go through their entire lives having allergic rhinitis and postnasal drip and all the symptoms and issues that come along with it when we can solve this early on. And I really liked when you were talking about the cat. So we actually had a testimonial come through a few months ago of a family someone in the family couldn't have a cat in the house. And they went on Moducare and now the family has a cat. And so of course the review, as a cat lover, I know the joy of the children now that they have a cat in the house. So it's life-changing when you don't, you know, something simple as a postnasal drip. It is very annoying. It is discomfort. And being able to just have that go away is priceless.
The itchy eyes and the runny eyes is absolutely the worst. I used to have a cottonwood allergy and Moducare cleared that up entirely. So, you know, I think if you have allergies or someone in your family has allergies, everybody should get on Moducare. And I mean, we're talking about allergies right now and how effective it is at treating allergies. But I want to say, it's not like taking an antihistamine where 20 minutes later, you know, your nose stops running. Moducare gets in and fixes the immune system, the underlying problem. And then your body doesn't respond to these allergens. And that takes a little bit of time. And I always tell people, you know, start on it. Some people get results within a week, but I'd say give it at least 60 days and then just stay on it because you also get the reduced colds and flu. so important, you know, and we're going into the summer months. And I always tell moms, get your kids on Moducare in July so that when they go back to school in September, they're not suffering with all the colds and flus that go around the school at that time. And for teachers, but it's not just for kids, it's for adults too. And, you know, we've had some amazing stories over the last 20 years of people with very serious health conditions like rheumatoid arthritis taking on Humira injectable drugs that we're able to get off, people with idiopathic thrombocytic purpura, which is a very serious condition, also be able to put their condition into remission. And, you know, all of these kinds of things, and understanding this cortisol to DHEA scenario, that I think is huge. If you look at the fact that DHEA is an anti-aging hormone, it's pretty exciting that we can bring our DHEA levels up. But there's also other nutrients, and KidStar has, you know, multivitamins and omega-3s and vitamin D3, and those are also all immune and anti-allergy support as well. So I always recommend that people take vitamin C, and I love your new vitamin C. It's on my desk. I eat it like candy. It's so great. It tastes like mandarin oranges. It's a natural flavor. It's even got fruit powder in it. It's so good. But you need vitamin D, and adults, you know, finally, you know, Health Canada changed the dose of vitamin D for adults to 2,500 IUs.
Yep.
You need 2,500 IUs in the summer months when it's sunny because you make vitamin D on your skin. But in the winter, you need 5,000 IUs of vitamin D if you're an adult. Kids should have 1,000 IUs a day, and you've got a great vitamin D in the little spray.
Yes.
Kind of tastes like creamsicle. And, you know, I'll pitch for you because you're not as good at it as I am. But your products have no sugar, natural flavors, natural colors. Even your kids' multi has spirulina in it, which is a superfood to make them blue instead of using bad coloring, and lots of omega-3s. So, you know, omega-3, vitamin C, vitamin D, a good multivitamin. Every kid needs those. I think you even sell it in a bundle. And then Moducare. And Moducare has always been available in a natural grape chewable. And I think you use some cool version for the color. What is it?
It's purple carrots.
Yeah, so purple carrot is the reason why Moducare chewables are purple. I love that you did this because, you know, all these colorings are making our kids crazy and hyperactive, and it's, you know, some of them, they're all banned in Europe. They won't allow people to use them, but here in this country, we're still selling these terrible colorings that cause cancer and allergies. So, you know, I mean, and really wreak havoc with our kids' brains.
Well, it baffles me that we have artificial colors and flavors because there are alternatives. You can make the change. We are not stuck in the 80s with artificial colors. There are better ingredients, and that's why KidStar chose to use better ingredients, because our kids matter. And you know what? You have to make good quality products. There's no point buying products that don't have good quality ingredients. It's just a waste.
And you know, we've talked about this before. It continues to amaze me. This is a guilt thing, okay? It continues to amaze me that we're buying $6 coffees every day, but we don't spend money on our kids' nutritional supplements. And thankfully, you know, the doctors are now stopping their mantra of kids don't need multivitamins. That is a flat out lie. There is no kid out there who eats the amount of vegetables, protein, healthy fats that are required for optimal brain development. And, you know, so we've truly got to fix that and get our kids on nutrients. And, you know, you have products that are even for babies. So there's no reason not to have super smart kids who aren't suffering with allergies. And we got to get this allergy thing under control. So hopefully people are listening and know to start on Moducare, stay on Moducare. Even people with really serious allergies, after 2 years of taking Moducare, we had one person who was allergic to shellfish, And even in a restaurant, if they walked by with a plate of sizzling shellfish, they would have a reaction, which is very scary because you didn't eat it, you just smelled it.
You were just in the
and they were able to, they were able to now be in the room.
Right. Oh, and I wanted to point out with the kids chewable, it's also for adults. So the chewable is for 5 and up, and it is the same dosage as a vegetarian capsule. So you could take a chewable or you could take the vegetarian capsule. Almost everybody in the office takes the chewable because it tastes so good and it's fun to eat. So either one, you don't have to take the vegetarian capsule just because you're an adult. And if you want to open up the capsule, you can also do the same thing. You could just open it up, put it in some applesauce. So there's lots of ways to take Moducare. And there's some tasty ways
I think
to take Moducare.
We're all tired of swallowing capsules.
Yeah.
And I love that you have all of your products that taste absolutely awesome with no sugar, no junk in them, natural colors, natural flavors, and really natural flavors, which, you were managing all the supply chain for my company, Lorna Vanderhaeghe Health Solutions. And you know that they're even trying to find natural flavors is very difficult because they don't want to tell you, the companies who make the flavors don't want to tell you what's in there.
Correct.
And so it really is, for the people listening, it's quite a feat to find truly 100% natural flavors.
To get the information from the raw material manufacturers is a feat in itself. And, that's why we choose to work with certain companies over others, because they actually tell us what's in the products. We can actually vet the ingredients, how it's manufactured, all the way to getting to the shelf. So ensuring that the product is the high quality that it needs to be.
Right. And before we shut down our talk, I just want to say eczema is also, it's called atopic dermatitis. Allergic dermatitis is eczema. So, if your kids are eczema prone, or you were, and you're pregnant, then you want to make sure your kids get Moducare as well. And oh, by the way, you've got to keep your kids' bedrooms clean. If those kids are suffering with stuffy nose and runny nose, get a cover for the mattress that you can vacuum, wash their sheets often, and also get rid of the curtains and the carpet, because that's the worst place for all of especially if they have asthma, while you're getting them on Moducare, so you don't need to worry about being hyper clean after they've been diagnosed.
Yes.
Just the dust thing is always a challenge for those kids. But those are just some things. And, introduce good, healthy foods young so that they have a huge variety, and that makes their gut microbiome better, which the immune system sits in the gut. 70% of your immune system resides in your digestive tract.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I know, and that's a whole other conversation about probiotics and prebiotics and the postbiotics, which we will have one day, because it's a whole other topic that, could probably be about 4 or 5 different Instagram lives. But yes, and the next time we talk about Moducare, we're going to talk about autoimmune issues. Yes. So, which is another topic that's extremely important. But we've really wanted to make sure everyone heard about allergies, since, of course, spring has now started. The cherry blossoms are starting to bloom in Vancouver, although I heard that Toronto had snow yesterday. Oh. So sorry, Toronto.
But they get mold. West Coast, it's spring. When the snow melts, people get mold allergies because the grass and the snow creates this kind of mold. So a lot of people get rhinitis from the mold. So even if you are covered with snow, when it starts melting, you get this mold response. So get on Moducare now and stay on it forever. I think we've been on it now for 26 years.
12 years old when I started it, and still going strong. All 3 of my girls are on Moducare. And this year we've had very minimal missed days because of colds and flu. So we've been very lucky, and it's been a breeze. And, because when a child misses school, parents miss work. And it's hard to juggle all the different things at the same time. So less school days missed is a bonus for so many parents.
True. And you still may be able to find the Immune System Cure used copies on Amazon if you really want to delve into it. And make sure you go to moducare.com, and also KidStar Nutrients. So KidStar distributes Moducare, which is why if you hit on the buy at Moducare, you get sent to KidStar Nutrients. So we're very lucky to have the exclusive distribution.
And Lorna is right on Moducare.com. All of the research papers are all listed on the website, so you can read them there. We also have some really great videos. So if you want any more information, Moducare.com is the place to get that. And then, of course, if you have any questions, you can always direct message through Instagram, and we are here to help out. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, Lorna Vanderhaeghe. It has been a pleasure talking about allergies today. And next time you will hear us talking about autoimmune issues. So until next time, have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.